everybody, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have another homeschooling video for you guys, and this is a part 2, I guess I would say, of a video I made a very long time ago when I was extremely shy, and I'm still shy, but I was like, every video was like, hey guys, it's me. But anyway, about 5 years ago, I did a why we homeschool video, super dark video, really embarrassing. And I shared with you then in that video why we chose to homeschool our, at the time, 4th grader. And here it is 5 years later. Actually, we're going into our 6th year of homeschool this year. And I wanted to do kind of an update video to let you know if those reasons back in that original video are still valid, and then anything new that has come of homeschooling now for 5, almost 6 years. And with starting out with 1 kid and now homeschooling 2 kids, kind of where we are with that. So if you want to see my updated why we homeschool video, then stay tuned. Okay, so I went back and watched that old video, as painful as that was, and mainly the 2 reasons were safety issues in public schools and what they were teaching that I didn't approve of. That was really the main thing. But at the end of the day, I will say safety is still my main concern. And it was then, and it is definitely now. That has not changed. So 5 years later, only 5 years later, if you think about it, a lot has changed, I feel, for the worse in the public school system in just those 5 years. So we have even more reasons now to homeschool than we did back then, if you can imagine that. To be honest, I feel like what is being taught in schools now, even only 5 years later, is even more skewed from our belief system than it was back then. And I feel like it's only going to continue to get that way. There have also been numerous more school shootings since we took my oldest daughter out of public school and started homeschooling. And, you know, like I said, I don't feel like there's any changes being made to protect kids. And that was one thing I noticed back when she was in public school. I keep saying she, because if you don't know, my oldest daughter is 15 now, but she was in 4th grade when we took her out. And when we had a younger daughter, my younger daughter was, I think, like pre-K at that point. She was like 3 or maybe 4. So at the time I was just homeschooling my older daughter. But there have been numerous school shootings and attempted, you know, kids bringing things to school with guns and knives and who knows what else. And that was one thing I noticed back then when my oldest daughter was in public school. Nobody seemed to have any sense of urgency to protect the kids. Like, it was like, well, there's a police officer that floats between this school and that school. Well, okay, that helps no one. You know, things like that. There was no accountability. There was no urgency to make any changes to protect the kids, and both on a school level and a governmental level. I mean, nobody really did anything about it. So, and I feel like that also has continued to worsen in the last 5 years. Everything that made us decide to homeschool back then is still 100% a reason why we homeschool, and then some. Really sticks out in my mind though, about 5 years later, after homeschooling for 5 years, is the benefits and the blessings that I didn't even take into consideration, didn't even know were a thing or could happen, that have happened because we homeschool. The girls are so much closer to each other. They are instant best friends, and not because they don't have other friends. They do both have lots of friends. They have activities. They have a homeschool co-op where they have friends. They have church friends. They have skating friends. Like, they've got friends everywhere. So it's not because they don't have anybody else that they're just having to be each other's best friend. But I noticed as soon as we took our older daughter out of public school, they instantly became closer to each other and to me, which is amazing. It's amazing. That reason alone, even if safety wasn't an issue or what they're teaching in schools wasn't an issue, that is a huge blessing, because at the end of the day, whether we are talking about educating our kids or whatever we're doing, isn't one of the main points of life to be happy and have a happy, close, loving family? I mean, as corny as that sounds, it's true. You know, your family is supposed to be the group of people that you want to spend the most time with, and we do. And it's an amazing side effect of homeschooling that has happened for us, and it's been a blessing I didn't even realize was going to happen until it happened. Also, really love the flexibility of homeschooling. Like right now, my oldest daughter is doing a standardized test at a public school, and my husband's with her. And my younger daughter is downstairs doing her independent work, and I'm able to come up here and film. Or we go on vacation every year in early spring when everyone else is still in school. We go to Disney World and we get to enjoy less crowd because everybody else is still in school. You know, there's so many benefits. If someone's sick, we can have that child not do school that day. Or if I have to go to the doctor in the morning, we can finish school at night. Like, there's so many benefits and there's so much flexibility in homeschooling that it's incredible. And it really frees up your life and doesn't make you a slave of your child's school schedule. Also, we can tailor each girl's curriculum to their strengths and weaknesses and how they learn best. I mean, that's been an incredible blessing, because I've talked about this before. I naively thought that my younger daughter would learn and respond to the same curriculum as my older daughter, and they don't. But I figured out, and I'm able to piece together a curriculum that is best for my oldest and best for my youngest, and it's amazing. I mentioned this earlier too, but we get to spend so much time together, and that is an incredible blessing, because you know as a parent how fast time goes and how fast your kids grow up. They grow up even faster when you're not with them all day. You know, they're at school 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and you're not seeing them all that time. You know, 5 days a week, 9 months out of the year, you're not seeing them for all those hours. And we have such a good time together. We get to go out pretty much every day for lunch, and we laugh and we run errands and we do all these fun things, and then we go back and we finish school. But that is amazing. And this is the best thing that I could have ever hoped for, that I never even knew to ask for, never even thought about when we first started putting our older daughter in public school, and then realizing we were going to be able to homeschool, and now homeschooling both of them. Like, it's just an incredible blessing that I didn't even think about at the time, but it is a huge benefit of homeschooling. It's also, I feel like, a lot less stress on the family. As I mentioned earlier, we are able to make school work with our life instead of the other way around. There's no car line, there's no shuffling kids here and there, there's no excessive homework or bullying or drama to deal with. You know, there's drama in pretty much everything, but there's not as much, because they're not in that setting where there's just all of these kids and all of this drama and all of this stuff going on. We really get to limit that as much as possible, and that's amazing. And I'm also able to protect the girls' hearts and minds for as long as possible. Does that mean that I think that we're gonna live in a bubble and they're never gonna hear cuss words and they're never gonna, you know, have any of this stuff happen to them that's negative? No, that doesn't mean that. But I'm able to keep those things limited as long as possible, so that they have a chance to build their faith, to build their strength in their faith, and know how to handle those situations when they come up later in life, because they will come up. But they don't have to come up in first grade or second grade or third grade or fourth grade like they were. I mean, already in fourth grade, they were requiring them to read books that had cuss words. They were playing uncensored, unedited songs at the dance with cuss words and sexual connotations. And this is not like a crummy school she was going to. She was in one of the nicer elementary schools in our city, and that was already going on in fourth grade. So I can only imagine now, with her being in high school, what will be going on. So thankfully we're able to avoid those things as long as possible. Anyway, that is kind of a recap of why we started homeschooling, and then why we continue to homeschool, and some added blessings and benefits from homeschooling that we've noticed in the last 5 years. I don't want to paint a picture though that it's all rainbows and sunshine. There's never bad days, it's never stressful, it's never overwhelming, because it definitely is. But I feel like the good days outweigh the bad days. And still, even when there's bad days, the reasons why we homeschool are still there, and that is what keeps you going through those bad days. Choosing to homeschool is one of the few decisions in my life I've ever made that I have completely agreed with the entire time. You know, sometimes you make decisions and later on you're like, oh, that wasn't maybe the best thing in the world. But it's one of those few decisions that I have complete confidence in, which I can't say much about that. There's not many things I can say I have complete confidence in my decision about, but homeschooling is one of them. My only regret is not homeschooling my older daughter, either from the beginning or pulling her out of public school sooner. I let my fears of like, well, I'm not patient enough, or I'm really bad at math, or she's better off in public school because she'll have more friends. Like, I let all those things keep me from homeschooling her, when really that has not been an issue. They have plenty of friends. I don't need to be good at math, because teaching textbooks is our math program, and it teaches it for me and grades it for me and corrects them for me. So, and there's no reason to be afraid. There are solutions to every one of those things that are holding you back from homeschooling. So if you guys want to leave a comment for me in the comment section, let me know if you homeschool or not, and if you do, what are some reasons that you homeschooled, or what are some of the benefits and blessings that you have noticed that have come from you homeschooling? I feel like that'll be a really encouraging way for us to share with each other why we homeschool, or maybe somebody who is thinking about it but intimidated by it, then maybe some of the blessings and benefits that they can hope to have if they start homeschooling, just to kind of encourage each other. So definitely leave that in the comments for me. Also check out my homeschooling playlist. It's linked for you guys in the description box. Every homeschooling video I've ever made is in that playlist, so tons of videos there. Make sure you check that out. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Click that little like button and the little bell button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.